I freaking love that movie.
The best time travel movie. It makes perfect sense logically, time-wise. It's
Hell yes.
It's amazing in every way.
It is. You can watch that movie like you have to watch that movie
like twice.
Yeah,
you have to watch it twice.
You have to at least, because the first time you'll be like, wait, what? And the second time you're like, oh my god, mind blown. Everything makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. There are these complicated. Have you seen those infographics they make for Primer? Oh, it's amazing.
And then it's like the end. It's like the whole time.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so good. Go see Primer. Go see 12 Monkeys. I'm sure it's on Netflix.
Is Primer on Netflix?
It used to be. I think you can get it on DVD, but I don't think you can stream it anymore.
Oh, that sucks. I watched the hell of that on Netflix. All right.
Oh, Alcoholic was talking about Sleeper. Sleeper's a good one. Woody Allen movie.
Not sure if I saw that one or not.
It's good.
All right.
My dad was a really, really big Woody Allen fan, so I've watched a lot of Woody Allen movies.
I also saw one with Bruce Willis recently and Jason Gordon-Levitt's
Looper.
That was actually a really good time travel movie.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I like that one. It's no Primer.
Yeah, it's not as
it's not cerebral.
Yeah, it's more action and a little some of the time stuff. It's like, but okay, I'm fine with it. But it made sense as a time travel movie as well.
All right, so first thing, and I hope someone else has got something, because like I said, everything else was on Jay's plate, and I don't even know what the heck he wanted to talk about on post-show, so I hope someone else can think of something else we can talk about. First thing I wanted to talk about was Ryan Bell.
Who?
Thank you for asking, Felipe. That's why we have you here. Ryan Bell is the Adventist. He was a minister and teacher who a year ago said that he was going to spend a year as an atheist. And so immediately his employer fired him. He lost his job. And atheists came to the rescue. We raised $27,000. Not we, but atheists.
He was a preacher?
He was a preacher.
So they fired him because he
yeah. So he was also teaching at an Adventist school. And so they said, if you're going to pretend you're an atheist for a year, you have to GTFO. And he did, and atheists raised money for him. And a lot of money. I mean, $27,000. That's a pretty good severance package. Yeah. So he has just completed his year as an atheist. I think most of the criticism he got doing that was, how can you pretend to be an atheist? And we were just kind of talking about this, is I can't just decide not to be an atheist, because I'm convinced that the God claims I've heard are not accurate, are not you're not justified in believing those things. So
if you're going to be a good atheist, there's a whole logical concepts and epistemology you have to kind of understand to realize why you're an atheist and why you don't believe that God exists because of certain logical
but does everyone agree with that? I mean, do you think you could go and be a Christian tomorrow? Do you think you could just turn on the believe in God switch?
I could go and
pretend.
Put on a pretty good
act. I could have faith. And it would be a bad logic system to use, but I could have faith that God exists. I could do that. And I couldn't. Because remember, faith, as defined by my favorite author guy or whatever, although he's kind of an asshole, it's pretending to know something that you don't actually know. So, yeah, I mean, I could have faith that God exists.
But you're pretending. I mean, people who have faith,
I don't think people that have faith are pretending. Because they're pretending to know something they don't actually know.
They're pretending to know something. They're not pretending that they believe it. They do believe it. They're just pretending they know something that they don't know.
Does change that a little bit. I could. I don't know. I'd like to say that because I don't think you can pretend to be an atheist.
I don't either.
I think you can pretend to be a Christian.
Well, no, I think you can pretend to be an atheist. I think S.E. Cupp is a good example.
Yeah.
S.E. Cupp. She's the Fox News.
The Republican
atheist.
That's probably why I don't know.
It's their token atheist.
Yeah, so she's all over there. She's an atheist who hates atheists. Excuse me. She's a quote unquote atheist.
Also, like that dude who ran for president, the Godfather Pizza dude.
The what? Oh yeah. Herman Cain.
There we go.
Yeah. He was a joke. S.E. Cupp is a joke. She's not really an atheist. I'm writing a book about it. It'll come out soonish. This was decided at the last meetup, actually.
All you had to do was just scrawl something on a piece of paper and date it.
Yeah, right. So I think you can pretend to be an atheist. I think I could do.
I guess you can pretend to do both, actually.
Yeah.
But could you actually say you believe, though?
No.
But it's not really. I mean, what did the guy say he was doing? He was going to pretend to be an atheist.
He wasn't going to pray. He wasn't going to look to
wasn't going to go to
the
church.
Bible for any sort of divine inspiration. What's really sad is that I actually just listened, because we talked about this on the first episode that I was on, and I just went back and listened to that one today.
Oh, really?
And he.
What did we say? I'm curious.
Well, then
we were worried for him, because it's kind of like, well, dude, good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm glad that he came to this conclusion. But
so okay, let's skip to
in that case, he wasn't really pretending to be an atheist. He was just being an atheist.
No, because he was saying he still believed in God, and he was saying, but when I'm in trouble, I'm not going to pray. On Sunday, I'm not going to go to church. I'm going to
use logical thought process to solve problems instead of. I mean, that's
an atheist
does. I mean,
that's what an atheist does. But an atheist is someone who accepts no God claims. He has accepted a God claim. So he wasn't being an atheist. He was pretending to be an atheist.
He was acting as one.
Right. He was pretending. He was doing the things that atheists do. He was not an atheist, although I think that's debatable at this point. I think he did this because he
was already an atheist.
Well, I mean,
I'm
if say you're a racist, right? And
I'm a racist,
and you hate the shit out of black people.
I hate the shit out of black people.
But you never speak into the universe. Everything you do is always, you set up scholarships for black people, and you marry a black lady. You even on your
were one hell of a faker.
Yeah. Are you still a racist at that point? Even though in your heart of hearts you still hate black people.
Yes. Because the definition of a racist would be someone who hates those things. And just doing those things, if you still hate them, you're still a racist.
But just did them, though. And to the world, you are the
right.
greatest
so externally,
scion
fine.
of the
but
disadvantaged individuals.
That's externally. But there is a truth. A rock doesn't cease to be a rock because you put paint on it. I mean, you can make it look like something else. It's still a rock, right?
It's like putting lipstick on a pig.
Yes. It's still a pig.
Oh,
It was a good attempt. I celebrate you for trying, bro.
Cool story, bro.
So here's the thing: is I kind of.
Oh, that damn alarm!
So much for being a professional.
We're in post show.
I kind of am annoyed by Ryan Bell at this point. Was I annoyed by him last year? No.
Probably not to my knowledge.
Okay, but you read the.
I listened to it.
Listen to what we said.
I've done other things since then. Don't expect me to remember everything.
And I want to preface it by saying it's completely unfair that I'm annoyed with him, because what I'm annoyed with him by, I follow him on Facebook and everything, and he rags on the atheist community a lot. Here's the problem. He rags on the atheist community for things that I rag on the atheist community about. But I'm just like, dude, you can't say that.
Well, I mean,
only I can.
Double standard much?
No, this is like, only I'm allowed to beat up my little brother. You can't do it. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
But now he's an atheist, though, right?
Well, now. So he's come out as atheist.
So are you just mad because he came to it from an unconventional standpoint?
No, I'm annoyed by him because he.
So it's like with gamers when girls get into gaming. It's like,
look,
we just did all this work to become gamers, and now these girls just coming in.
This guy just nailed you. He just nailed you.
You're a neckbeard. That's what you are.
You just nailed this. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
And he just nailed you. And he got you with the recoil.
Man, he got you so bad. He got nothing for that. Nothing.
I will. Like I said, I prefaced my whole thing with this is not fair. But prior to him announcing this week that he is an atheist and he is not going back to the church, I was super annoyed every time he was like, they're so mean to me. It's like, well, they're so mean to you because you're doing stupid shit like pretending you can be an atheist. That is something you could be. I mean.
Well, what are you when you're in that transition? Because when I became an atheist, there was a good 2 years where I was back and forth between belief and non-belief. What are you during that time?
Questioning.
And isn't that where that guy was at too? Wasn't he also kind of questioning?
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
It was just unconventional. Sure.
if you walk into my group and you're like, I'm not one of you, but I want to tell you why you're a bunch of assholes. I'm like, get the F out. And you know what?
What if you're all being a bunch of assholes? Then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, we will handle it. Get out.
We'll police our own.
Yeah, I'm just
And
like,
I come back to gaming.
I'm just that annoyed the crap. It's annoyed the crap out of me. Also because he's really kind of wimpy. He's really kind of wimpy. And like he folds so quickly at like the smallest amount of criticism. It's like, dude, people are gonna criticize you. Sometimes you're gonna be wrong. I don't know. So now that I've kind of talked about why I'm annoyed by him, let me also say that he's awesome because A, he's come down on the right side of the issue, but B, he went from being a preacher, teaching in a religious school, the career he's found himself in now, he works for an organization called PATH, which is helping the homeless, and that's the job that he chose. And I just have to say, like, helping the homeless is traditionally like a religious occupation, and he's doing so much better work as an atheist helping people than he was preaching and teaching in a religious school. So, while I'm annoyed by him, rock on, man. And I realize I will freely admit that I'm just randomly annoyed at him.
There's just something about it.
It's like that smug look on his face. We should have him on the show now.
I'll see what I can do.
We totally should. What the hell? I'll tell him I'll be nice to him.
Are you gonna question his atheist cred?
Yeah. I'm gonna
cred.
No true atheist.
Not all atheists.
I'm gonna dance at him and he's gonna have to dance back. That's totally what's gonna happen.
Does he have to know the secret handshake and everything?
Dude, don't say that on the air.
Does he have to have a high atheist score?
So someone have something else to talk about when I'm done with this. I did a little dance, and I think Susan was the only one who noticed it, and she's like, "What the fuck was that?" I banned someone. It was awesome.
I saw that guy.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Was it the MERV?
The N-word
MERV
guy.
unit. Yeah, I saw that.
The guy who threw an N bomb into the chat room, and I was like, "Yeah,
That's
get the
second. Yeah, that's the second person we banned, isn't it?
That's two. A year and a half. Well, I guess a year that we've been rocking a chat room. So.
Well, didn't Leslie do the other one? Huh?
Yeah. Because no one else. She at that point she was the only one who
She's the only one who could.
had the.
Yeah, that guy was like super. It was
Yeah,
just,
it was.
Okay, that's cool.
J.W. Roman. I'll never forget his username.
I know the guy.
He just spammed the hell out of the chat room.
Yeah, he
He's
did.
super excited.
He was just excited to be a part of
So
it.
happy to be here. All right, what else do we want to talk about before we go?
The other topic I would needed Jay to be here for. So
What is it? I'll pretend to be Jay.
nah, it won't work without JP.
Oh,
I got nothing.
We all look to you, Susan. I got nothing.
Don't look to me.
Weren't you going to talk about? Or did we already talk about?
Oh,
Leela?
GIF.
GIF and GIF. Oh God.
It's GIF.
It's GIF.
It's a
Jeff.
GIF.
It's GIF.
I've
Oh, that's
never
right.
said
You don't
GIF.
want to talk about the Blake thing yet. That's right.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about that. I mean, that's more interesting than GIF.
We'll just sort of rehash
Yeah, let's
the
just,
whole thing.
Why don't you go ahead?
So there had back when CCA people were actively
CCA being Corpus Christi Atheists.
yes, of course, were actively doing Geeks Who Drink, 3 nights a week, winning all the time. We're on this
Geeks Who
really
Drink is a pub quiz.
yes,
So
you have to refer to it as pub quiz.
drinking and trivia.
Half of us are quiz masters.
Yes.
So there was one night. There was the local representatives,
Congressman.
There we go. Is a Blake Farenthold, and he is a Tea Party douchebag. He's sort of
Gap-toothed, duck jammy. He was in the Final Four for Flip a District on Bill Maher.
was.
Yeah.
Mhm. He has been in the news recently for accusations of hostile work environment and sexual harassment against a former staffer that had been recently fired. And So we were contacted by a reporter from the Houston Chronicle, yes, to ask us about an incident that happened about a year ago, just over a year ago.
October 13th, 2013.
There we go. Thank you. It's like I know you sent that to me just now. Where while we were at quiz, Farenthold and his cronies, every time that we already had a lot of people being assholes to us because we always use the name Corpus Christi Atheists for our team name.
The first time we A, we do this because it's fun, but B, it was also a good way to put our name out there. And, our goal really was, let's make atheists in deep South Texas boring. And the first time we went, and so first of all, we kick ass at this thing. We almost always win, and because atheists are smarter than you. But
I did it once, and I contributed very, very little.
Really?
Yeah.
Your smiling face was there, and that's all that mattered, because I was there for that.
It sounds like a morale booster.
It's like there was one topic. It was like a video game pun thing. It's like, I know all the video games, but I don't know any of the puns.
I remember.
And then I was all like, I know all the puns.
Okay. So anyway, the first time we went to one of these things and they announced our name, people lost their minds. People were throwing paper at us and coasters. They were screaming, Jesus is real. What the hell is all this stuff? Booing. And that continued for about 2 or 3 times until people got bored. And they're like, oh, here come the atheists again.
Oh, they're going to win again.
Right. Yeah.
So
flash forward to Congressman Douchebag.
Congressman Douchebag. Well, that night it was no different, where every time because it was a trivia night at Surf Club, and that night this particular group that was with Farenthold decided that every time they said, and in first place Corpus Christi Atheists, they were going to boo and hiss and just generally be assholes about it. Of course, not surprising.
That's what Tea Party douches do.
Exactly. So afterwards, members of the team went to a bar that's a number of blocks away where Farenthold and his cronies happened to be. And one of the team members overheard Farenthold call Corpus Christi Atheists a bunch of godless fucks.
This is our congressman.
Yes. This is the man who
ostensibly represents us in Congress.
Representing us, yes. Didn't vote for him, let me just say.
But whether you voted for him or not, he still represents you.
Yeah,
it's
I am
his
still
responsibility to represent you.
We are still his constituents. So the fact that he has that little respect for the people that he is representing is a little disconcerting. So I am going to be speaking with a reporter from the Houston Chronicle tomorrow morning, recounting the story, basically telling him I am very, very disappointed in the congressman, and I really feel that he should be held to a higher standard because he is, a person of political standing.
He's a leader in our community,
Yeah.
and he is, basically leading bigotry against our community. And I look at the kinds of strides we have made over the last 5 years in particular. Corpus Christi Atheists has been around since about 2006, but since about 2009, I look at the fact that the first time we went to a pub quiz, we had things thrown at us. We had people screaming at us. And today, no one bats an eyelash.
Yeah.
The atheists show up. I mean, when we first started volunteering with the city, there were some, oh my God, there's atheists here. And we went from that to getting a standing ovation one time when we showed up to do some planting downtown. And, hey, here come the atheists. These are the kinds of strides we're making. Meanwhile, we have a leader in our community, and not just a local leader, but a national leader, a guy who ends up on Fox News, on CNN. I doubt MSNBC has ever had him on.
I don't think so.
But, you can see this gap-toothed, godly fuck. on national television.
Godful
fuck? Is that what we should call him?
Full of God? Sure.
And he could stay neutral. He could say nothing. Instead, what he chooses to do is vilify our local community and, push us back after, we've already been to the place where we get shit thrown at us. I'm so happy that doesn't happen to me anymore. I'm really, really excited about that. And this godful fuck is not helping. So I was, we tried to get, when they were doing Flip a District and Varenthold was on there, I actually talked to Bill Maher's people and tried to get them, to take the godless fucks anti-atheist thing. They wouldn't, they talked to me and they're like, never heard from them again. I'm going to be so excited if this gets in print. I want it in print. This guy is a bigot. He is an anti-atheist bigot. I just can't wait.
Yeah.
Please make that happen, Susan. Please make it happen.
I'm going to, and if anybody has any suggestions for how I can properly convey my disappointment in the congressman, please email us at god@atheistairwaves.com and it will be forwarded to me.
When are you talking to him?
Tomorrow morning at 9. Okay, so please get with them tonight, or I'm debating on giving out my own email.
It's fine. I'm going to be up all night anyway, so I'll just upload it to you.
You'll send it to me. Just poke me on Facebook. Be like, hey, Turpin.
I got like 11 hours to like a dead cat on this person's doorstep.
Pretty much.
This is what can happen if you don't print this.
Here's the other thing, though, is that one of his lackeys went after the individual who, because the individual who overheard him say it went after the guy. Was not like, oh, okay. Was, hey, I heard what you said. That's not cool. And they had an altercation. It was loud. Like the bar staff came over and was like, what is going on? Which I praise him for doing that. Well, one of his lackeys called his employer about it, and he got suspended without pay. And he had to sign he can't talk to this reporter because he had to sign
a non-disclosure.
A non-disclosure. I'm never going to talk about this incident ever, or I will lose my job.
I just love politics.
Right? And this same guy later contacted my employer and basically called my boss or emailed my boss. And the thing he was trying to get me fired for, and he went back and forth with my boss shared it with me. In fact, all of her replies to this individual, she CC'd me on. Basically, he said, do you know that he's an atheist? He runs Corpus Christi Atheists. He got our Facebook page shut down because he reported
this guy.
Yeah.
Walter.
Yeah, and he got our Facebook page shut down. We didn't realize it was down.
Until I woke up the next day, and I'm pretty sure you were all like, "What the fuck happened to the CCA page?" And I'm sitting here like, I have no idea.
So he reported something, he reported like 500 things, and they shut us down for one.
One of them stuck.
Right, and it was like a post we had shared as you should not post this stuff because it's messed up, and that's the post that they suspended us for. So he said, he runs Corpus Christi Atheists, and their page got taken down by Facebook because of all the horrible things they're posting. And do you know that he's involved with Atheist Airwaves and all this stuff? I am super, super, super lucky that my boss is the most awesome person on the planet. She is smart, intelligent. She's a theist. Those two things are not necessarily synonyms.
I think I see just like a little bit of brown behind your eyes.
She's not listening. It's post show. She's not contributing to our show. But seriously, she's the best boss I've ever had. And when we put up the billboards, I had to go to her. I was super, super nervous. I'm like, I went to her office. I had to I didn't know when they were going to go up, and I didn't know if they were going to go up. And when they finally told me, it was like 24 hours before I was going to be in front of news cameras. And so I made an emergency meeting with her, and I walked in, and I'm just like, I'm an atheist, and I'm going to be on the news, and it's that cool. And she's like, you have a First Amendment right, and I think it's awesome. And after the news reports came out, she sent me a quick text message and said that she's like, they were super unfair to you, and that's unfortunate, but you did a good job. I'm like, I am so super lucky because we live in Texas, and we live in South Texas. And that could so easily, this guy just calling my employer repeatedly and saying, this guy's an atheist. Do you know what he's saying? Blah, blah. I have a family. I have children. He could have, that could have been food out of my kids'
livelihood.
Yeah. Very easily. Very easily. And this is the kind of thing that Blake Farenthold, godful fuck that he is. That's the kind of thing that he's promoting. And I can't even. It's a Susan thing.
I should give you my button that I have.
Gilman's in the chat room.
Hey, Gilman.
Hey, man. As far as I know, he's not been on Alex Jones, but I think he's not smart enough to be on Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Which is a really sad state of affairs.
He doesn't look that bright.
No.
Actually, he looks like my ex's new boyfriend. So.
Ooh.
He actually really does.
Yikes.
Yeah. And they're about the same age, too, so even creepier.
Did you want to talk about the transgender teen
suicide? We should talk about that a little bit. So anyone want to, I feel like I've been talking about 500 hours. Anyone want to give an overview of that real quick? Leela something or the other is her name. It really is
Leela Alcorn.
Leela Alcorn.
That's
and
her
name. Literally the most, I feel like someone give an overview of the story real quick.
If I remember correct, let me see.
I'll correct you. I love correcting people. Just go ahead and start talking and I'll correct you.
I'm trying to find the post that I read earlier about it.
You look and I'll talk about a different story if you want.
Okay, so Leela Alcorn is a 17-year-old transgender girl from Kings Mills, Ohio. Committed suicide by jumping in front of a semi-truck.
I don't know how I feel about that method of suicide.
It just seems really, really...
Sucks for the semi-truck
convoluted.
guy.
Yeah.
Because now he's probably going to have to write a poll report and probably some sort of suspension.
You're more concerned about his paperwork than this poor girl.
No, I got to say, though, that there is something to be said about making someone else kill you. Whether that's death by cop, and I know I said some bad things about cops in the show today.
Yeah.
I don't think that's cool to do. I don't think it's cool to make someone else run over you because I can't imagine. I
would feel horrible.
I would feel.
If I was that truck driver.
I would be thinking about it constantly. Could I have avoided it if I had been looking? If I had been expecting this girl?
Had I been going a little bit slower? Or,
yeah. Oh, that would mess me up. Don't do that. If you're gonna kill yourself, please.
So she wrote a letter and put it in her Tumblr queue to be published after her death.
Which was pretty smart.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's a smart way of doing it.
Yeah, it really, really is. She wrote that she felt like a girl trapped in a boy's body and had done so ever since she was 4. She said, when I was 14, I learned what transgender meant and cried of happiness. After 10 years of confusion, I finally understood who I was. But I'm reading directly from BuzzFeed right here, so, it's BuzzFeed. But she felt she was isolated from society by her Christian family and said she was not given consent to transition on her 16th birthday, which absolutely broke her heart. At the end of her letter, she included this plea. My death needs to be counted in the number of transgender people who commit suicide this year. I want someone to look at that number and say, that's fucked up, and fix it. Fix society, please.
And the other thing that was written in there that the parents did is whenever she came out to her schoolmates and everything, like she told them, like, I'm gay or whatever, trying to get to the point where she could admit that she was transgender to him. And then the parents went and took her out of school, cut her off from all her social networks,
which is the worst thing you can do. The absolute worst thing you can do.
Well, and I think this really, really makes me mad. Her mother posted on Facebook after the incident occurred.
Oh, shut up! I don't want to hear this.
This is word for word, and it makes me extremely angry. My sweet 16-year-old son, Joshua Ryan Alcorn, went home to heaven this morning. He was out for an early morning walk and was hit by a truck. Thank you for the messages and kindness and concern you have sent our way. Please continue to keep us in your prayers.
Can't even acknowledge.
Does she know about the suicide part? I mean, was she aware of it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
she in her post she's issuing apologies to people, her to two different friends, but to her parents she said, "Mom and Dad, fuck you. You can't just control other people like that. That's messed up."
Right, but do the parents know that it was suicide at that point, or are they under the impression that it was just?
I would assume yes. I mean,
I would assume yes, and they're just trying to save face, especially considering the fact that they're still calling her their son.
Well,
they've probably always done that. I mean, it's probably nothing new for them.
And they're just.
I don't know. This is again just file this under what's the harm and why can't you just let people believe if they want to believe? This is why. It's tragedies like this that are unnecessary. That if sorry, I started running out of disk space. I cannot imagine having my child. So let me tell a related story. I'm not going to tell how I know this person because it might get back to this person. And he's a good guy. But it was an employee. I don't know why he started telling me this. But Christian family, son came home and came out to them and said, "I'm gay." And they had a family intervention and convinced him, your eternal soul, you're going to go to hell, blah, 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 and, wrestled him into submission. And right before this person left where I work, they announced that he was engaged to get married to a woman. And not only did they put their son through a lot of unnecessary mental distress and embarrassment, and not only did they reject their own son, but they have now created a situation in which this is not going to be a happy ending for her or her family either. This is going to end badly. It may happen next week. It may happen next year. It may not happen for 20 years. But eventually this is going to be a bad situation. And the only reason for it is stupid Bronze Age beliefs from a book that none of those motherfuckers have read. None of them have read it. And they are making huge decisions and impacting people's lives based on a book that they haven't even fucking read. They don't even think it's important enough to read, but it's important enough to destroy their loved ones' lives and the lives of their loved ones. It's important enough to let your daughter recede into such isolation that stepping in front of a semi-truck seems like a better option than going home, going to church, and hanging out with you. Completely unnecessary. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking do that.
And also realize this is just one of quite a few, probably many hundreds of transgender suicides. And
I think hundreds would be conservative estimate.
Yeah. I do too, yeah.
So there's a lot of other people with the exact, if not very similar, story.
Yeah, I do want to say before we go that I was very struck by this young woman's suicide note because it is well written, it's well thought out. It reads to me like a person not who is, and this is the worst part, I didn't get from reading the suicide note that this was a person with distraught mental problems for whom this seemed like a good idea. This seemed like a very, very
logically reasoned.
Yeah. Like she really put some thought into it, and her logic is good. I don't recommend other people doing this. I think she could have done a lot more if she had stayed. I think, she, at one point she talks about people telling her that, the it gets better thing. And she said, it doesn't get better. It only gets worse. And I don't think that's true. I think it's very easy to be a young person and not realize that this is not what your future is. Because this is the other thing. And then I'm going to tangent real quick because I was reading another story about a young girl who committed suicide this week. And she committed suicide, I think she was 14, and she committed suicide after 6 years of intense bullying because boys liked her and girls didn't like that about her. And so they just made her life a living hell, and she eventually killed herself. And not even some, all of the commenters on this story were saying, because they were talking about, anti-bullying campaigns and stuff in this story. And they said, no, we don't need anti-bullying campaigns. What we need to do is toughen people up and say, teach our kids how to stand up for themselves and, rigid backbone. And I'm just like, no, because
it's such victim blaming.
It is victim blaming, but worse than that, go ahead.
It's just bullshit because you can become as tough as you want, but there will always be that one thing that can hurt you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just, if I look back on my childhood, if I look at this child's environment, if I look at Leela's environment, what I see is behavior that would not be tolerated in an adult environment. People would be fired. People would be removed. People would walk away from that. And kids can't do that. What we need to do is promote sane, reasonable adult environments for children. My kids don't do that to other people. If they did, there would be some serious crap going down in my house. This is not normal. It's not something you should learn to deal with. What we should do is deal with the problem, and the problem is the kids and the people who do things like this. That's the problem. Anyone else got anything depressing to say before we go? Anything in the chat?
I think they should protest the fuck out of her funeral and make her parents feel like crap.
That may be the one time that I...
Yeah, and I'm the kind of person who's like, always be respectful of funerals, and that's a sacred space, but they didn't know their daughter. Yeah. They refused to know their daughter. What
was the last thing that you were saying before the show, Susan, in her suicide note about people who...
Anybody who... It was something to the effect of people who say...
They wish they would have
gotten a chance to know me better, or, I wish we could have done something about it, deserve a punch in the face.
Yeah, and amen to that.
Because it's too little too late.
Well wishing's great, but what's even better is action.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope your week is better than the note we're leaving you on. We will see you next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central. As always, thank you for your support, guys. See you.
Bye.